What up guys, Pascal here. YouTube is the biggest video platform on the internet. It's the second biggest search engine and it hosts over 2 billion users on the platform. So if you're a creator and you want to get started finding your audience, you want to connect with your audience, I think YouTube's a very good place to do that. This is actually what got me here. This is going to be my very first YouTube videos. I came here because I've tried a lot of different things before. And I never really felt like I found my audience and really a way of connecting with the people. It just always felt like a one-way street and also kind of dry. So I want to mix it up a little. I want to connect more with the audience and just make more interesting and more fun stuff. And I think YouTube's the perfect place to do that. This is going to be interesting because I actually know close to nothing about how to make a video. I know we need cameras, we are going to need audio, I know there's lighting we need editing, and maybe overall just different kinds of style and different kinds of filming shots. I'm going to start out like you should with what you have at home. So let's look at all of the things that we can use for filming that I have at home.
This is the gear I was able to find, so let's have a look at what we have here. I have a Sony Alpha 580, that DSLR that is already about 10 years old, but hopefully should be able to shoot some decent video. Attached to it, I've got an 18 to 50mm lens from Sigma. That's probably going to be the all-rounder in most of my cases. I got a couple more lenses here. Let's see when we're going to use them. I do have a basic tripod that's going to help us put up the camera. I have a Xiaomi smartphone tripod. I do have a USB microphone. Last but not least is my smartphone. I'm using OnePlus phones. I'm currently using a OnePlus 7T. This is not this. I'm currently filming with it. For lighting, I basically just have my home lights plus this additional LED light that can be adjusted from rather dim to super bright. So this is going to be helpful probably for getting a little bit more light into the shots.
So before we go into editing, let's do a little audio and video comparison between the devices. Currently I got my DSLR running. That's the Sony Alpha 580. It's only running at 1080p, but the sensor is reasonably large and the lens should be decent of quality, so I expect the video to look quite okay. The audio is currently coming from the built-in mic and I don't expect that to sound really good.
Next up, I'm using my OnePlus phone. This one runs at 1080p 60. The phone is a lot closer to my face because it has a fixed field of view. I expect the audio to be on par or probably better because it's a newer phone and it's also closer to me. The video, I don't really know how it's going to stack up compared to the camera. So last but not least, again on the phone, this time I've set the video quality to 4K 60, so I'm not sure if that's going to make a huge difference. Also, I've tried to hook up the external microphone via a USB hub to my phone. I'm not totally sure if that worked. It might just be using the internal mic for this one as well.
Now that we have a little bit of footage, the next thing to make a video out of it is go ahead and edit it. There's a ton of different options for video editing out there. For me, it's only going to be 2 options. So I'm going to look at Premiere Pro and After Effects. The other option I'm going to look into is Descript. That's kind of a new school video editing tool. It should be a little bit easier and even have some nifty features like editing the text to edit the video instead of cutting manually. We're going to look at if that works and how that works and if it's going to be easier or any quicker than the other option. So before we get going, the next thing I'm going to do is load up all of my files onto the computer and then we can get going and edit. So I've switched
switched over to my computer to edit. I'm gonna try out both of the tools to see which one really fits my workflow. For this, I'm gonna do a screen recording. I'm gonna use the Microsoft built-in game bar. I think there's a couple of other options that make that really simple. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new project, test video. I just dragged the file here and it imports both of my video files. I am gonna transcribe these files because that seems to be the real magic. Without transcribing, I think there's nothing I can really do here. I think the app crashed in the middle, but finally it seems like the transcription is there. The second clip starts here. I did say a couple of dumb things in the beginning, so let's just delete them. That's pretty easy. So next out, trying out Adobe Premiere Rush, a more simple version of Adobe Premiere for podcasters and vloggers and YouTubers. It should just be easier to handle. Starting out, it does give us a little tour. I can pick that, I can pick that, I can pick that. That's what it wanted me to do. It prepares media. It's putting them in a timeline. It's not highlighting the audio like Descript did. It does highlight the video. Overall, the tool looks really simple. I think I'm gonna look for the compatibility to take my files and put them into Premiere Pro next. So I just opened Premiere Pro. It actually guides me through, so that's helpful. I really missed that from Descript. I'm not sure if they have it. I didn't see it, so that was a miss for me. Let's have a look. This is taking a little bit too long. I don't think it looks super complicated. So let's go ahead.
So I'm not really sure what I was expecting. It went about as well as it could have. So want to try out Descript. I really like the editing features, although it crashed a little. I'm going to give it a go. A word on the setup. I'm now back to the Sony camera. During the screencast, I was using the screen recording with an external USB microphone, so I expect audio quality to be better in this segment. Before we really dive into editing all of the different clips, I noticed there's two things that I was missing that I should have done in the beginning. I probably should have started the video with them. One is planning out the video, doing a step-by-step, what are the things we want to show. We're going to do that in a second. The other thing is doing scripts. I was messing up a lot when doing the video takes. I had to retake a lot of them just because I didn't think about what I want to say really. I just jumped into it. It was really good for getting started quickly, but I should have thought a little bit about it in the beginning, at least have a train of thought that I want to follow. So next thing we're doing is making a little plan. That's going to help me edit this video. I'm just going to start out with the simple bullet list of the shots that we've taken, bringing them in order, and planning out what shots we still have to take. So I did make an intro shot where I took a longer video in the beginning of me setting up the scene. So I want to take this longer clip and just cut out little bits of it and put them in a really quick succession to have a proper intro shot. Next is my explainer, where I go ahead and just talk about what I want to say in this video and explain what this is about. After that, I did the gear comparison. So, gear. What the F, man? My video camera just shut down. The DSLR just shut down on its own. I think it was overheating, although it's not that hot, so this is a no-go. Seems like I cannot really rely on this camera going forward. I was talking about the AV comparison that we did. After that, we did the editing tool comparison. We did this, the planning bit in between. We need to do the proper editing, so editing in full. After that, I want to do a quick summary, a quick roundup to see what we actually learned, because I think we learned quite a bit in this video. And as I mentioned before, I did F up a little bit, So to make that a little bit more fun and actually also show you that this is going to happen to you, just don't be discouraged by this. I'm going to do a little bit of outtakes in the end. Okay, looking at shots. Okay, no joke, this thing shut down again right in the middle of this video. This is not going to be bearable anymore. I'm just going to continue. Let's go ahead with the editing. I can't take this camera anymore. I loaded all of the files from my phone, from the screen recordings, from the camera onto my computer, and got a little bit overwhelmed. So far I've created 61 files that I need to either delete or piece together, and it got a little bit out of hand. So what I did next was create a folder structure that orients itself on the outline I just created before, and now at least I have grouped my files into the order that I want to have. So I got one intro video that I need to cut, I got 4 in the explainer, I got a bunch in the gear, then I had the AV comparison from the 2 different sources, the tool comparison, and there's just a bunch of files. But by planning out my video like this in a folder structure, everything immediately becomes a lot more manageable. So I think that's going to help a lot going forward, piecing everything together. So I needed to go outside for a second. Damn, this is driving me crazy. I did record like a super lengthy shot on me recording my screen and trying to edit the videos, but this is actually just unwatchably boring. I'm not going to make you suffer through that. The other part was already bad enough about trying the tools, and we're just going to skip ahead to the conclusion. This is getting out of hand at the moment. I'm just... oh. Well, this was something. So we've reached the end, and I want to do a really quick rundown of the things we learned. I want to end it pretty quickly. The video took quite a long time already, and I think it's better for us if we just get it over with. So overall, it was really fun shooting the video. It drove me crazy from time to time, and there's a couple of things I want to give you on your way. I'm going to do a more detailed, more in-depth video later on, where I'm gonna go through all of the things that I really effed up and that you should improve when you're doing your first video. So the first thing is just be a little bit prepared. Maybe make a rough script of what you want to say and make a rough timeline of the shots you want to plan, and that should help you immensely. Next thing, talking about camera. I did have a bunch of gear, but that ended up being more of a crutch than actually a help. The main DSLR camera that I wanted to rely upon really let me down quite heavily. And so I'm filming on my phone now. If you want to get started, do it on your phone. It's gonna work wonders. Lighting wise, it's probably not perfect, but it worked out for me. So just put in an LED lamp, use what you have, get in a lot of light. Last thing I want to say is editing was a lot harder than I anticipated, and the worst thing for me was combining editing the video, screen recording me editing, and not even like properly doing a tutorial on editing before. So just jumping in, trying to record while I'm messing up and don't really know what to do. That was not fun. I think that's about it. That's the main things. Stay tuned for my in-depth video. That's going to be a lot more helpful. And thank you so much for sticking with me and watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Editing is... oh Jesus. Don't do that. Just driving me crazy. So, now... oh Jesus. That just is a recipe for disaster. I think I'm a pretty fast learner about new tools. Cut. That's kind of a new kid on the block tool. Just crashed and burned. Ah!